I am going to teach you how to hip hinge. So a hip hinge is a little bit awkward at first, but it is the most important movement pattern to train for people, in my opinion, with any pain. Because it's not natural. It's really natural for people to squat down and just bend their knees and do stuff, or round and do stuff. But it's really hard, especially if you're not from like an athletic background, it's really hard to get into your hips. Like getting into your hips, having a long spine, that's really awkward for people. And trust me, because I work with people in pain all day, every day, and I teach this, and it's very hard to learn. So I'm gonna teach it on here. So we're going to do a kickstand hinge. So the kickstand is most of your body weight, around 80%, is on the working leg, and the other leg is there for balance, but it's going to take about 20% of your weight. So we're going to start with our left leg. Sorry if you can't see my head, but that's just how it's going to be. Right hand in the crease of my left hip. This left hand is on my glute. You need to get tactile feedback and feel. So from here, I'm going to make sure my whole weight is on my left. So from there, I'm just going to lift my right leg. And nothing should change. I shouldn't be moving more, nothing moved, because basically my whole weight is here. This is just a check. Good, so now I know I'm on my left leg. So from there, I'm gonna look down and I'm gonna bend my knee until I can't see my toes. Now it's in a positive shin angle, and you're not gonna move the whole exercise away from this knee bend. It's gonna stay flexed. From there, I'm gonna keep sending my knee forward as I'm tipping my hips back. So my hip is going back, my knee is staying forward, and my spine is long. So I'm not extending, and I didn't like flex. I'm not like tucked under. That's not a hip hinge. I'm getting my femur to go backwards in the acetabulum, and everything's coming along for the ride. I'm going to hang out at the bottom for about 5 seconds. This leg is not taking any weight. It's for balance. I feel my glute a lot. You may feel your hamstrings. If you feel your quad, you have to switch your foot pressure. When you come up, you're going to extend your hip, but not your knee. We're going back. So hips going back, spine is long, knee forward, butt back. Weight's in my heel. And then as I push, my weight's in my midfoot, the middle of my foot, as I push to stand. So for me, I feel a lot of glute when I do this, but I've been doing it for a while, so don't worry. You should just feel something in the back of your leg. Could be hamstring. But this is our kickstand hinge. 5 to 10 second hold at the bottom, coming up. And only when you're done your reps do you straighten the knee. So a lot of people, when they're doing their lifts, they're coming up and straightening their knee, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that, but that's not the pattern we're training in this. We're training hip extension first, knee doesn't extend. And this is kind of the pattern you see in gait. You see like hip extension before knee extension, and oftentimes knee is going to stay a little bit bent in sprinting. You know, it doesn't like lock out really like we do in like gym exercises. So nothing wrong with it. Just for this drill specifically, we're going to keep that knee bent, which is going to put a lot of time under tension for our leg muscles, and you're going to feel it a lot more. So master that kickstand hinge, body weight. You can do it before workouts. You can do it as part of your lower body warm-up before you're deadlifting or squatting. It's going to feel amazing. Why? Because we're actually really stretching your glute max, eccentrically lengthening it, getting yourself some glutes, not tucking under, no glute, a lot of glute. And what we're actually doing is we're opening up that posterior capsule of the hip. And so as you do that, you're going to get a lot of space in the back of the hip, the back of the femur and the acetabulum. And all of a sudden, it's going to open up a lot of range. It's going to open up internal rotation. It's going to open up flexion in the front, helpful for any like anterior hip impingement stuff. For any back pain, just offload the spine using those strong hips a little bit more when we're lifting, when we're reaching, when we're carrying, stuff like that. So practice your kickstand hinge, body weight at first. You can load it up with a dumbbell or barbell or kettlebell. Once you get the form, do both sides. Of course, I usually recommend around like 6 to 8 reps. You will be like smoked by the end if you do it right.